Yeah, apparently.
All right.
Welcome everybody. I would like you to give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Rutger, who is the spokesman for the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction.
Thank you very much. My name is Rutger, and as Dirk said, I'm the spokesman for the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction. In recent years, there have been a lot of news reports concerning the fallacy of drug treatment, and there has been some criticism on the EMCDDA in the position they are taking. This presentation should take about 10 minutes. A brief handout will be available at the door, and questions will be answered at the end. The reason I'm giving this presentation is because we are taking the concerns that people have with our organization very seriously. We are working on ways to improve the situation, and I will give you some brief points introducing what the problems are and what we exactly is what we do. I've divided this presentation into 3 main points. First of all, public opinion on drugs addiction and the EMCDDA. Second of all, current programs and actions. And lastly, possible improvements and our future plans. Yes. Our studies indicate that in Europe, on any given time, there are 19% of the total population is using drugs, 5% of which will become addicted. That amounts to a total population of about 50 million people, the size of Spain, and about, well, between 2.5 and 5 million people who get addicted. That is about the size of Switzerland. This is why we can safely assume that drugs are a part of life, something we all accept that it's there, and something we have to deal with because of health reasons and because of the burden it places on society. Drug treatment, which is the way we deal with drugs, is something not a lot of people know about, and therefore not really have an opinion on. Well, that is a weird thing, because why would the average man need to know about drug treatment? Well, because drug treatment is something that affects us all. Because drugs is a very prominent thing in society, drug treatment is as well. So maybe it's not you who gets addicted or uses drugs, but may very well be someone in your family or someone in your circle of friends who gets addicted and needs your help. And you can't give that help if you don't know what they're going through. The EMCDDA, the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, is something most of you will not have heard about. That is very sad, because the EMCDDA is an organization that provides vital information that helps to improve drug treatment. They provide accurate information on, for instance, drug trends or on drugs in general. And this brings me to my second subject, the things the EMCDDA does currently, our current programs and our actions. We provide accurate scientific information on not only drugs, but also information on trends in drugs, the amount of people using it, information on rehabilitational centers, the policies they are giving, and information on, well, general things concerning drugs. This is very important because without this information, researchers could not do their job. And this is not the only thing we do. We also engage in partnerships with other organizations and policymakers, so they can provide a more stable rehabilitational network for everyone in Europe to, well, not enjoy, but to partake in and to use when they need to use it. And the question remains then, what are we doing wrong? What is the criticism we are receiving? And why are they criticizing us for the things we do? Because I'd like to say that we're doing a pretty good job. We've been doing it since 1993, and data suggests we are doing a good job because more and more people frequent our website and use our information on a daily basis. And that brings me to my last point. Oh, sorry, these are some examples of the partners we use. The Pompidou Group in France, the World Health Organization, ESPAD, that's a Spanish organization engaged in drug treatment. These are only examples, of course. We work with countless politicians, countless researchers, and about 20 other organizations. So, back to my last point. Improvements. Well, the main thing these criticisms point out is the EMCDDA is a monitoring board. It says so in the name. It just monitors the things people do. It does not engage in quality control. It does not make any efforts into changing situations. It just gives advice, and what companies do with that advice is not really their concern. The best thing we could do is we give advice, and then we check again what the company does, collect data, analyze data, provide it to other companies, and maybe give different advice. So there is an increasing demand for a body that controls and regulates the quality of drug treatment. We are not that organization or that body. We cannot be that body because it's not our mission. Our mission is to provide information and provide advice. We are, however, helping the European Union set up such an organization using our experience, our information, and our contacts with other organizations. Furthermore, we are also trying to improve the way we distribute information. Currently, that's only done via our website or on request to our Lisbon headquarters. This, of course, is not adequate in the current times. We are working on making a physical publication, something that comes out every month. We are not exactly sure how we're going to do it, that highlights current trends and provides general backgrounds on the things happening in the rehabilitational scene and in the drug scene. We are also engaging in new partnerships with other companies, other organizations. This is because the European Union is growing all the time, and because of the recent financial crisis, there have been a lot of budget cuts, which means that a lot of organizations will probably cease to exist. So we are working with the Europol, for instance, which is the European counterpart to Interpol, and we are working with the Turkish government and a couple of other organizations that can really improve the amount of people we are reaching through our information. Okay? I'm sorry. So, in conclusion and summary, we are taking the criticism highly serious. We are doing the best we can to improve the situation, but it's not really up to us. It's up to the policymakers to improve situations. So it's not fair to criticize us for things we are not doing, which we shouldn't be doing. And in summary, the way we are doing this is improving the way we distribute information, improving our partnerships, expanding our partnerships, and generally expanding our mission without going outside of mission protocol. This was my presentation. I hope it was clear to you all. Do you have any questions? Yes.
How did you exactly get those percentages in about the number of
the 19% and 5%. That is on our website. We use the Rutger network to gain data from member states, candidate member states, aspiring member states in the European Union. They fill in polls, research, and that sort of stuff. We collect it, analyze it, and distribute it again, and make it publicly available for everyone. Any other questions? No?
Yes,
Cool.
Yes?
How can you make sure that the percentages you get from the member states are correct?
There really is no way to make it sure other than to approach it scientifically. If that's a good question, by the way. Because if you take data and you accept it as being scientific, it can be proven, you can repeat the test, then we can assume it's proper data, it's good data. And I think that is your question, how can we know for sure? Well, there really is no way for knowing for sure because people could be lying when they fill out the test. But these are the data we have and these are the data we use. And everyone accepts them as being accurate. Yes?
How many monitoring centers are located in the Netherlands?
Monitoring centers. Not per se monitoring centers. It's done via, for instance, TNS-NIFO, which is a polling organization that polls certain groups about their drug uses or other uses. They poll a lot of things. We collect those data and analyze it. Any other questions? No? Then please don't forget your hand out at the door, and thank you for listening.